Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Howdy, y'all. Red.olaughlin here. Talking heads today on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. And this new series that I've started is called What Would I Do? And I'm taking a particular aspect of health or wellness or longevity or aging or whatever it may happen to be. And what would I do in regard to that? And I talked about that just recently. And our shows are seen on Amazon, Fire TV, Roku, Zizzle, E360 TV, YouTube, Roku, Android TV, Apple TV, many locations for live streaming. And we also have some follow-up on the podcast on the audio version of that. So let me go ahead and load up my slides and we'll get right straight into today's presentation. Okay. This presentation is primarily for awareness and education. That's what all of my presentations are. I'm a researcher. I have never been in the medical or pharmaceutical field. I fell in love with chemistry long time ago, back in high school. I got my first degree in chemistry, got an invitation to Vietnam, never practiced it. My wife came down with breast cancer about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that now. And I resurrected my love of chemistry, trying to find what could possibly work to treat some of the side effects of their drugs and stuff that she was going through, and had literally a really good success rate with that. And so the chemistry is what I've changed over, and I use it literally almost every single day. I got a bunch of other degrees, none of them in chemistry, none of them are all together in the same field, but regardless, they're just part of my background. But I look at the cellular level in the human body, and I look for cause and effect relationships. This chemical reaction causes this one causes this one. Okay, how can I speed that up? How can I slow it down? How can I stop it? And because they're chemical reactions, you actually have the ability to make some changes. But I look at it this way: if you treat the cause of a problem, you probably have some success of fixing it. But if all you're doing is putting a Band-Aid on it and hoping the body cures itself, you're treating the symptoms. Essentially, you'll always be treating symptoms. And the problem with treating symptoms is that if the body doesn't heal itself, whatever cause that's underneath that's causing it to begin with can resurrect itself. In other words, you may get a clean bill of health from cancer, but if you don't change your lifestyle, whatever caused the cancer to begin with may come back again in 5 or 10 years, and you may never become aware of it until it's too late. So my accountability deal that I started literally a month ago, and I'm sorry, I had picked out at Thanksgiving. We had a house guest in here for 4 or 5 days. I actually had made a lot of good progress, and then I literally 3 days ago, I was up at almost 200 pounds. I get back focused on what I'm doing, so I'm actually looking at getting everything better. But essentially, you look at what's there, and it's incrementally less than what it is, but it's nowhere where it should be after a month. But the good news is that if I'd started this thing on January 1st, and this was the end of January, I'd be feeling, maybe I'm not going to make it this time. But I still have the whole month of December to get myself where I want to be. So I didn't put in everything because I made no progress on the other items. But what I'll do is just continue to report where I'm at each week. And if I see something that looks really impressive, I will point it out. Okay. I did make an error last week when I was talking. I said the only hard day was yesterday. It's Navy SEALs slogan. And it's really the only easy day was yesterday. So I just want to make a clarification on that one. I try to do a lot of these by memory, and I should verify them. But anyway, I wrote a book called The Joy of Ageless Health. It talks about how disease gets started in the body and what you can do about it. So that's kind of where a lot of what we're talking about here, our lifestyle affects the start and genesis of disease. So I want to start out with what does success look like? Yeah, and what is success for me? I'm looking at longevity. I'm looking at aging. I don't want to have somebody changing my diaper for the last 5 or 10 years of my life. That to me is not a good quality of life. I want mobility. I want a lot of things. I want my health and wellness to be pretty much up there. I just got finished suffering through several months of shingles, and it just was not a pretty sight. I was 10 weeks of just absolute agony. But little by little, I'm overcoming that. I'm just about fully through that. I still have a little bit of brain fog, but most of the pain that I had is pretty much dissipated. Still occasionally lets me know it's still there, but I think I'm pretty much over that part. But the brain fog is coming through, and hopefully in another week, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, I should be back to normal. But we want a fulfilled life. We want meaningful relationships, our mental and emotional health. We want personal growth. We're actually better than we were, last year, 2 years, 10 years ago. If we're still working, a work-life balance. I'm retired, but I would swear I'm working more now than I did when I was working. We want to make sure that we achieve our goals. We are enjoying our passions. I mentioned mobility. But most importantly, I want to have my age-related diseases significantly reduced, whatever that risk may happen to be. So that to me is what success looks like. So I talk about healthy lifestyle. Our lifestyle is everything we do every day. Sometimes we don't pay much attention to it. Thanksgiving dinner, that 3 different pies that I had the choice of choosing from, and then the bread and all the stuff that I kind of avoid when I'm home, but I was with family in a different location. You just can't say, no, I'm not going to have that. I'll worry about it after I get back home. But anyway, it's our daily choices. Yeah, we sleep every day. Some people can get by on 4-hour sleep. Some people can't get by on 8-hour sleep. They're just constantly tired. But sleep is a major component. Stress management, absolutely. We're stressed every single day, and it just kind of builds up and up and up, and you got to get something to tamp it down. Our diet, our exercise, and just many, many other things that we become part of our lives. But the biggest thing that our lifestyle does is it influences our epigenetic changes. Our genes are like a light switch. There's an on or off. Sometimes the gene has to be on in order for that gene to give you the good health and everything is working fine. Sometimes that gene has to be turned off. But our lifestyle, our stress, our exercise, our diet, our sleep, all of those things either turn on a light switch or turn it off. And that gene expression then activates or deactivates, and it determines what our health is going to be. So if nothing else, the lifestyle choices you make determine your health via your genes. I started putting this thing together. I think maybe I want to act, maybe I want to avoid, but then I got into this little mental process of, well, maybe there's some action words with A that I can help. So for a healthy lifestyle, I want to avoid alcohol, smoking. That makes sense. Toxins, absolutely. That's a super big one. Stress, refined and processed foods. You go back to 1976 and you find out what this ultra processed food epidemic in the United States started. Then all of a sudden we started having obesity and a lot of other issues from a health perspective. And it's all tied back into processed foods. Trans fats, avoid sugar, saturated fats. Fast foods. Now I realize that many of us work and you only have that hour off at lunchtime to go grab something, and that's the most convenient. We just typically don't pack a lunch bag and take it with us. But there are a lot of things that we can avoid. There's some things we can adjust, but we need to adjust incrementally. You just can't stop smoking tomorrow. That doesn't work for most people. It does for some, depending on the reason why we're making the change. Maxwell Maltz, I'll think of it here in a moment. It's gone. Brain fog. But incremental changes we can make pretty easily. If we're going to have an extra bottle of water, maybe we have our bottle of water and then we have another 2 or 3 sips. Exercise. Again, maybe we just start out walking. Maybe we climb an extra set of stairs. Maybe we park the car a little further away from the store. Stress management techniques abound all over YouTube. Our emotional health, our nutritional balance. We need to make adjustments so that we're approaching that optimal zone. Activate, do more incrementally. And this do more can be a number of different things in our life. I just happen to throw a couple of them out there. If you haven't stretched in a while, why not? Balance, that's one of the ones I'm working on because I want to have improved strength in my legs in order to maintain my mobility later in life. Strength, again, our ability. Hand grip is one of the few, the ability of you to have a good, strong hand grip is literally the same thing as being able to ensure that your brain pushes off dementia. There are 2 or 3 things that are really aligned well with anti-dementia kinds of things, and grip strength is one of them. Resistance training, endurance. We have so many tools out there. We have heart monitors, we have smart watches, lots of things out there that we can, in fact, activate in our lives. We also need to accept we're responsible for our health. Yeah, okay, maybe I walked into a disease-ridden area. Maybe other things happen to me. Okay, accidents happen, other things happen, but regardless, we are responsible now and in the future. The time and awareness to change. So appreciate Thanksgiving and gratitude, major things in our lives. I don't think most of us really take our health seriously until something actually happens. And the gratitude that we have is actually just kind of permeates our entire being. And when we're thankful and grateful for things, then things happen. And part of that is getting what we call a routine annual checkup. And there's so many ways you can get, maybe you get a wellness check. Maybe you go down and you get some blood drawn for $79.95, and they do a series of blood tests on you. There's a lot of different ways to get checkups. Embracing a positive mindset. There's so much negativity out there that a positive mindset is very difficult to take care of today. Self-care. Absolutely. How do you take care of yourself? And, we kind of put a Band-Aid on it. Well, maybe it's something more than just a Band-Aid. Analyze. That's an area that just reeks inside of me of, okay, I need to know what's going on. I need to know why it's happening. That's just the way I work. We can have a disease caused by a deficiency in a mineral or a vitamin. We can sometimes know what works, but sometimes we don't know what doesn't work. So if we start tracking our successes and we learn from our failures, again, we're now taking better control over our lifestyle. And we're going to get into some details about that here. I'm just about finished here with the A words. Challenges, mental, physical, having an accountability partner, journaling, big one. That's an excellent way of being able to say what works and what doesn't work. Assess. What are your limits today? Can you walk 2 miles? Maybe in the end of December, you want to be able to walk 2.5 miles. It doesn't have to be a major difference, but improvement, but the consistency is there. If I can walk 2 miles 3 times a week now, in January, I ought to be able to walk 2.5 miles 3 times a week. What improves your life? What changes need to be made? We all have habits and our behaviors. Just tackle a couple. Don't worry about trying to do too many things at one time. I'll talk about the things that I would recommend as we get toward the end of this today. But just pick 2 and just be conscious and aware of those 2 and take action on those. January, take another 2. February, take another 2. Align. Okay, our goal in life is some level of mobility and self-sufficiency and enjoyment later on in life when we're retired. So if we align ourselves with the actions required to do that, we're constantly learning. We're reducing the risks associated with things. Our goals align with a more healthy lifestyle for us. And being able to give back to others, whether we're assisting them directly, we're putting our success stories on social media, we're telling the world, hey, this worked for me. But being an accountability partner for somebody else, helping them, walk their walk with others, because it's so many things are out there. We discover things, we share them, and we're assisting others in their needs too. Okay, let's talk about some of the specifics of the health lifestyle sleep. It's just not sleep. You can go to sleep for 7, 8, 9, 10 hours. If it's not quality sleep, you're not getting the full benefit. You have a sleep cycle generally about 90 minutes, and you go into different phases. But that quality sleep is where your body actually starts making repairs at the cellular level. And that's where that sleep is so important, because if you're not getting your molecules and your organs and everything else reinvigorated, rebuilt every day, then you're losing out. And that can add up over time. That becomes a problem. We have sleep monitors. A lot of things, just wear a watch, look at it in the morning when you wake up. Maybe there's some stress in your life that's causing you think about it before you go to sleep. A lot of things can be done. YouTube is a great source for how to improve your sleep. Exercise, I know a lot of people just absolutely don't like it. I used to love it. I just don't do as much as I used to. But there has to be something done every day. Now that winter is approaching, heaven only knows that what little we did before is even going to become less. So go to a mall, go to a grocery store, go to someplace and walk around the entire outside of the grocery store before you buy anything. Get a little bit of exercise, park a little bit further away. For diet, the whole key in our diet that we really need is what's called balanced nutrition. We want to make sure that we have 30 plus nutrients our bodies needs on a daily basis. If I'm lacking in something, I'll take something simple like B12. Vitamin B12 is a cobalamin methyl, and if we're delinquent in it long enough, it's going to mimic Alzheimer's. But I need to look at caloric restriction, about 30% reduction on what the nutritionists recommend, and make sure that I have balanced nutrition across the board. The foods, basically choose wisely. But whatever foods we're choosing, it's going to end up in our gut for a while, and fiber is an absolute critical item. You have good gut health, you're going to have good brain health. You have good gut health, you probably also have good heart health. AGEs, advanced glycation end products. This deals with how you cook your foods. You have barbecue with that nice unctuous blackened area on the outside that just tastes so good. Burgers, steaks, whatever it may happen to be. When you start cooking things at a high temperature, it starts changing that relationship in the body with regard to the sugar molecule, which that glycation end product ends up. And over time, it can be a detrimental effect to your body and to your health. Vegetable oils, and we're talking about sunflower, safflower, corn oil. Nearly every single disease starts with chronic low-level cellular inflammation in the body. So if you can cut down that inflammation at the cellular level, don't allow it to get to the next level of oxidative stress, then you've accomplished a lot. But if I were able to take omega-3 and omega-6 and say, here's my ratio, 1-to-1 would be the most ideal. But if I had 4-to-1 omega-6s to 1 omega-3, that's still considered pretty darn good. You start getting the standard American diet, and now you're at 20-to-1, 40-to-1, and it becomes a major problem with inflammation inside the body. A lot of the packaged and processed foods reduce or just avoid. So if you look at what you're fixing all the time, maybe I don't have time today, I rip the top off of a box, open a can, open a jar, boom, and I have a meal. That takes care of today. But that's not the ideal lifestyle to be in. Exceptions happen. Every day is a little different. But if you start planning on the fact that, okay, I need to fix something that's not in the box, I need to have real food, real vegetables, real stuff. Another, probably one easy way, not necessarily easy for everyone, but multiple meals a day. I was in a discussion with somebody recently that their doctor told them they had to have 6 meals a day. And I had to go through the whole process of autophagy and why that doesn't make sense and how it keeps your risk of diabetes super high because you never have a chance to let the sugar fully get out of your body. That insulin just creates a problem. Now you get insulin resistance, a lot of other issues come out of that. Healthy lifestyle, negativity. Literally 80% or more of everything you run into today. People, TV, social media, what you read, what you hear, radio, most of it's negative. Recognize it for what it is. It's negative. Okay, fine. That's their opinion. Avoid it as much as you can. Maybe you might have some of those toxic people that you work with. Okay, that's a more different problem, especially if it's your boss or your wife. But recognize that that can affect your health down the road. Just don't reach a hold of it. Let go of it as quickly as you can. Periodic checks. We have so many smart things today. I stepped on the scales this morning to get my readings for my visceral fat, my subcutaneous fat, and everything else. There's about 10 or 12 or 15 different things that scale measures. And so it gives me feedback on a weekly basis of, am I improving or not improving? But a lot of things out there. And maybe you need to make an appointment to go in and talk to somebody. Toxins, absolutely avoid. You do that by beginning to read labels. Portion control, super easy. Just switch from a large plate to a salad plate. That's what you use for your normal plate. We did that years and years ago, and that's literally maybe twice a year. I'll pull out the big plates because we have family over and whatever. But anyway, portion control is a super easy one. You eat out, make sure that you plan ahead of time for a doggy bag so that you're only eating half of the stuff there. You're paying $30 for the meal. Come home, split it, now it becomes two $15 meals. Hydration, filtered water is what's preferred. Sunshine, again, is your friend, but do it in moderation. Blue light, I'm sitting here looking at my computer screen. I know there's a lot of blue light filtering out me. If this was 10 o'clock at night, it would probably be more harmful than in the middle of the day because I'll have a chance to get away from it later. But blue light also disrupts your sleeping ability. A nighttime eating, don't. I'm trying my best. Honestly, I'm trying my best to cut it off. 6 p.m., that's it, nothing after that. Smoking, I don't smoke, never have. But some people, that's an area that it's a concentration. Alcohol, it's an area probably most of us should avoid, but if we are going to have any, a moderation, a glass, 2 glasses max. And there's both sides of the equation to say that's good, that's bad. Brain activity, that's something I think is super critical. Continual learning, and whether you're challenging yourself with crossword or Sudoku or half a dozen other things, we do need to exercise our brains. We need to be very careful of who we have relationships with. Again, I talked about those toxic people. Accept them for what they are. A toxic person, you have to interface with them, fine. Accept that toxicity is theirs. Don't take it with you. We talked about balanced nutrition. Visceral fat, something I'm working on, trying to reduce. Posture, just the mere fact that I'm sitting up in the chair, my shoulders are back. Be aware of it. Improve it as best you can. Relax. It may be a 2-minute, just close your eyes. It may be a 7-8 minute nap that you actually lay down if you're at home. Breathing, lots and lots of what's called pranayamas. And these are breathing methods of which to improve oxygen flow and other things. Forgive yourself. We talked about gratitude and thankfulness earlier. Self-esteem, a big problem with if your self-esteem is not high, it can create a lot of other problems. So in my last little bit here before we shut down, what would I attack? What would I address first? Something easy. Portion control, a smaller plate. Stress management, again, go to YouTube, find out what works. Sometimes a simple smile, sometimes a deep breath, sometimes laughter. A lot of things will work. Label reading, begin a habit. If you're at 3 meals a day, seriously consider 2 meals a day. If you're not exercising, start doing something. Just that extra walk around the grocery store. My website is red. red.olaughlin.com. That's red, REDOLAUGHLIN.com, red.olaughlin.com. So we've got many books there that will answer a lot of questions for you. And with that being said, I look forward to catching you all next week on a new topic. Not sure what it's going to be yet, but we'll catch you next week and continue on. What would I do? So, bye, y'all.